Here we go. Here we go. Gundam Zig is betting on anticlimactic. I'm betting anticlimactic. I want this to be anticlimactic. I'm not looking for drama today. No one wants drama today. We don't need drama. We don't need drama. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the joint session of Congress, which is supposed to begin at 1 p.m. Figured we'd settle in, get comfy, get cozy as we prepare to watch the electoral tally be brought up by Kamala Harris here. Sitting vice president is the president of the Senate. When the Senate and House Representatives sit in joint session of Congress, meaning all 500 of them pile into one room. When all 500 of them pile into one room, the president of the Senate is the one who oversees the entire session. That is the sitting vice president, commonly referred to as Kamala Harris, whose job is, now in theory, she could bounce. She could bounce. I think she'll do it. I think she'll be there. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she will sit in on this. This would not make her the first vice president to tally up the demise of her own political career. The most recent one went off to have a very successful career in pitching climate change, which at the time we called global warming. But yeah, Al Gore was the most recent one to do it back in 2001 after he lost that very contested election to George Bush. In 1961, Nixon did it to Kennedy before he later ended up taking the House, before he ended up taking the presidency. So, yeah, this is not the first time this happened. Doesn't happen very often that the loser of the election is the one who ends up presiding over the tally of the votes declaring their loss. But so I thought that was an interesting historical tidbit, and watching her reaction to it, assuming she does come, in theory, she could call in sick for the day and send in a pro tempore to sit in her chair. Pro tempore would be some ranking Democrat, likely would sit in for it. Mike Pence didn't lose the presidency. He lost the vice presidency. That happens. That's more likely to happen. I'm talking about the candidate for the presidency who, was on the ticket. But you're correct that technically he was announcing his loss of the vice president's chair, but he wasn't he wasn't the loser in the presidential race the way Kamala was. So that's what it would be less noteworthy to me if the Biden-Harris ticket had lost to Trump. But yeah. So today we get to watch the joint session of Congress. I'm very, very excited for it. I apologize that I didn't do a show yesterday. I didn't feel like there was very much that happened, other than since we last spoke, we had Mike Johnson being selected as the Speaker of the House. A lot of people thought that issue, if that would take a long time, would impede or could impede today's joint session. I kept telling you that cannot happen. As a matter of course, as a perspective of law, it's not an impediment at all to this happening. I guess if he had been kept off, on retrospect, I was seeing some people saying, well, in that case, they could make a claim that they can't come in there. I don't think they have any legal basis to it. I know, I like natural light a lot. In fact, the normal light I use here is very sharp. This is very sharp. I actually have a different light here, which is much more natural type of lighting. It's a much softer type of lighting. I have like one of each on each side of me. But we are 300 and what is it? 68 times 2 is 373 hours away from him being sworn in as president of the United States. Very excited. 168 hours in a week times 2. You could do the math. That'd be 376 hours. Whoa! No, that's not right. That's 336 hours. Am I going to wear a tie for the presidential inauguration? I don't know. This is your member milestone chat? What? What? That doesn't look like your membership milestone chat. This is a membership milestone. Congratulations. Member for 4 months. Member for 4 months. I'm hoping, yeah, but you know, over in Rumble, they're like, I don't think this is going to be like anything very. What's exciting is that this is happening. We get to watch this happen. I think there may be some attempts at objecting. There may be some attempts at objecting, although, frankly, I think they gave up. This was such a dominant win. This was such a dominant performance by Trump. So dominant. So dominant. So let me see if I can find watch live house proceedings, livehouse.gov. Is this gonna give it to me? Next meeting is scheduled for around 12:55 p.m. today. Houses and recess until approximately 12:55. This is the official House site. The official House site here. WH.gov. Check it out. So I was thinking, so there really wasn't very much that I really wanted to, I felt was interesting enough to cover. This is what I got going on here. There wasn't much that I felt was interesting enough to cover. Many of you know that yesterday I debated Destiny. I went down to his studio. I met him live in person along with Pisco and debated Destiny. It wasn't even clear whether this was supposed to be a discussion or a debate. It was a discussion which inevitably became a debate. I was shocked when he disagreed with me on the first issue he disagreed with me on was about my application to overturn the gag order on Trump. And I was shocked that he's such an establishment believer in the establishment. It's weird. I was like, aren't you omni-liberal? Like, this is the least liberal position imaginable. Everything he was saying was trusting government. So I was thinking about doing the section where I would break down exactly some of the arguing style things that he does, which I think is actually reflective of someone losing and masking their loss. Some of the approaches that he entails in his debate approach. Because I've heard people like Piers Morgan call him the most effective, or one of the most effective debaters that the left has. And I was like, I think he used to be better. But rapid fire over talking, yelling down at someone, I was like, what is happening here? Ascribing a position to me. At certain times that he was ascribing a position to me. I even said to him, if you're just gonna just guess what my position is and tell me how stupid it's, you just get a cardboard cutout, say what you think I'm gonna say, and then just yell about how stupid it is. What's the point of having me here? I understand what's happening. In person, I want to say they were, both he and Pisco were very nice, very professional. Just as far as, on a personal level, off camera, very nice. And I didn't feel like he was mean on camera or anything. Just felt like, it's like, we could have such a healthier debate if you would. And then the topic jumping was just, I was like, this is just This is like dancing through a prairie here of debate, where it's like we're going to just jump from one topic to the next, the next, the next, the next, the next. And I was trying to assess whether or not, to at a certain point, I think I became partially responsible for that. So I was thinking about doing a whole dissection of that. Candidates ready for his first governor. That's also another. I guess that's news which I was thinking about covering, which was Trudeau. Trudeau, they say, rumor has it that Justin Trudeau is going to be stepping down perhaps as soon as today, but certainly by Wednesday when they're supposed to be having some sort of I don't know, Canadian government event. So I don't know. I think I didn't. Was he a Nazir? Is he a Nazir now because he's like waiting for Trudeau to leave? Like he's vowed that he's not going to drink, like just like Samson, he's not going to drink wine or become impure until such time as Trudeau. Or is it more of like a hockey thing, like the hockey good luck, like they have their playoff beers? See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It really could be either one. It could be either one. No one knows for sure. You can't say for sure. But this is supposed to. I assume that this is just going to come live on me at 12:55. This thing that I'm looking at here. I assume this is just going to come live. I'm looking in case you're wondering. This is from livehouse.gov. I assume this has got to be it, right? Say next meeting is scheduled for approximately 12:55 p.m. today. This has got to be it, right? They started a new legislative day at 12 p.m. This is what's been happening so far. They pledged allegiance. And there you go. Dang, missed my birthday by a day. Happy New Year's reviewery. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I assume that you turned 19 now. That's what it is. You turned 19, Pam. So my mother turned 29 for so many years. She called herself 29 plus until the day she died. But I'm sorry I missed your birthday. I apologize for that. Had I known, I may have streamed last night. But but happy birthday. This is a nice gift. This is a very nice gift. Try C-SPAN, they do a better job with the live. You can do a better job on this, you think, than the when I looked at C-SPAN, I actually have C-SPAN open here. See, I got the C-SPAN window here. So I was trying to, here it is. It's the live.
Follow and engage with C-SPAN on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at C-SPAN.
Statutory Hall, where the members of the Senate are making their way across the Capitol to the House chamber for this joint session of Congress. When you watch, just from as a political scientist perspective, these two bodies coming together in joint session,
I think it is cool when they come together.
To you symbolically.
Thank you.
It's good. I mean, these places have very different powers, very different incentive structures, different sizes, different constituencies.
I'm getting ecstatic,
but at the same time, they're ultimately responsible to the same people. And when you come together, especially for something as important and as transformative as a peaceful transfer of power, and when they all take it seriously, that's kind of like a put a hand over your heart type moment of a really patriotic scene where
Schumer,
you see John Thune and Chuck Schumer walking together, who agree on almost nothing, but they agree on that this is.
They agree on
important.
everything.
And sometimes we just need to see that play out.
They're both
in the most important institution we
they're
have.
both establishment hacks.
And as you were watching that video, you also saw the mahogany boxes that we were told about earlier, which are carrying what?
They're carrying the certificates of ascertainment and also the certificates of votes from each state. They are the thing that Congress looks out to count the Electoral College votes. It is a piece of paper stuck in mahogany boxes because symbolism matters too.
And you also saw Vice President Kamala Harris.
I do think symbolism is important.
Lead in that procession as it makes its way across the Capitol. We're going to continue watching the senators, but let's listen to Valerie in Salem, Wisconsin.
Is Langford.
Hello, and thank you so much for taking my call. My question revolves around the size of Congress, which then equates to the size of the Electoral College. It hasn't expanded since the early
the House come to order.
1900s. As we had
I think that's from the other one.
We've grown substantially as a country.
That is this one.
When do we see Congress
Mr. Speaker,
expanding in
the
size
Vice President and the United States Senate?
This is clearer, I think. So the Senate coming across over to the House. Folks applauding. Some of the senators looking younger than we remember them. I said stand online. It's possible. That wouldn't be the first time I've said it, but inline is better. Hi, Joe. Be funny as Republicans at the Trump dance. You think they're going to play YMCA inside in the House? Young men. There's Kamala. What a big day for her. That's vodka. We got your vodka ready for you, Kamala. You have no sound. You guys have sound? Oh, let's see. Let me see if you guys have sound. You guys have sound? Oh, let's see. Let me see if you guys have sound. You guys have sound? Oh, I don't think you... Do you guys have sound? Ugh. I know what to do. Don't worry, we'll get it up for you. We'll get it up for you. Somehow, when I brought this in, I don't know how I did that. Make this. We'll give you the sounds. Share screen. Let's boom remove. Now you should have sound, right? There's actually a light snow going on here too, in the Northeast, not just in DC. Very good. Sound is good. Amen. Amen. Is it official, Trudeau? I haven't checked the news today. He did announce 1 hour ago his resignation. Oh wow. Oh wow. What a significant day. Thank you for sharing that with me. I knew it was supposed to happen. I knew it was supposed to be. They said it was supposed to be happening. What a phenomenal day. What a phenomenal day for North America. Wow. Choose Rat. Welcome. Welcome to follower status. Awesome. She's waiting to get out and get a book deal done. Yeah, almost definitely. Congratulations, Vice President. Again, the first woman of color to certify his own election laws, really breaking the glass for women. And women of color. She is. She's breaking that glass ceiling. That's great. That's a great line. I might steal that on Twitter. That's a great line. She just keeps breaking it. That's great, Shia. I should announce out there that we are live. Right? We should. I should. Speaking of X. I'm going to steal it right now. Totally stealing that right now. All right. Come watch. I'm totally stealing from you, Shia. Kamala. They mill around. I like seeing the guys standing off on like the wallflowers on the side. There's JD Vance. JD Vance sitting in as senator. Love that. He's like, yeah, I'm very excited about his promotion. He really, when he first was selected, people forget when he was first selected, some folks were like a little not positive that he was the right guy. A lot of the DeSantis folks really wanted him selected. It was not like he was not the clear choice, but he did exceptionally well. I think he did exceptionally well during the campaign. Really, really well. Just time and again, he came out very. He just seemed to have a leadership vibe to him that, frankly, in certain ways, actually exceeds Trump's. He's more of your classic presidential timber type of aura to him. This is not going to happen. This is unlikely to happen today. Unlikely to be seen. The cackle. Really? There's 8 inches down there? Good golly. I hope it's not like that 2 weeks from now. That'd be annoying. That'd be annoying as all get out. Let me peek over in the ghetto, make sure I'm not missing anyone there. Ghetto's good. Ghetto's good. You guys can please hit the like and subscribe. I would be obliged. Is Cory Booker? Is that who? Oh, that's Hakeem Jeffries. Sorry. That might have been the most racist thing I've ever said. Hakeem Jeffries. Coming up to cackle on other pantsuits. Well, they always wear the pantsuits. I don't know why. It's such a bad choice. There's no reason for the pantsuit. The pantsuit has to be retired. I can't believe they had 8 inches there. I'm up in Jersey, and we have like a dusting, which has recently started sticking. No. That's not. Diggers are locals. Ghetto is. That's correct. There we go.
The House come to order.
Lead us, Kamala. It's so true. It's been a while since
Mr. Speaker and members of Congress, pursuant to the Constitution and laws of the United States, the Senate and House of Representatives are meeting in joint session to verify the certificates and count the votes of the electors of the several states for President and Vice President of the United States. After ascertainment has been had that the certificates are authentic and correct in form, the tellers will count and make a list of the votes cast by the electors of the several states. The tellers on the part of the two houses will take their places at the clerk's desk.
That's them. That's their silence, not mine.
Action. Without objection, the tellers will dispense with reading formal portions of the certificates. After ascertaining that the certificates are regular in form and authentic, the tellers will announce the votes cast by the electors for each state, beginning with Alabama. Senator Fisher.
There we go. We'll keep tally with them.
President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Alabama seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 9 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 9 votes for vice president.
All right. You go, Alabama. We could have called that one like a year and a half ago.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Alaska seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 3 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 3 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Arizona seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 11 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 11 votes for vice president.
Arizona, one of the toss-ups, right? That's what they were telling us.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Arkansas seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 6 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 6 votes for vice president.
You would think they would choose the senator from the state to stand up there, right? You would think that, but apparently that's just not the way things happen.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of California seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 54 votes for president.
Probably.
And Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 54 votes for vice president.
Here you go. You're in the lead, Kamala. You're in the lead. You got this, baby. You got this.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Colorado seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 10 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 10 votes for vice president.
Next up is Delaware. Right? Should be.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Connecticut seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 7 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 7 votes for vice president.
Look at this. She's got like almost triple.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Delaware seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 3 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 3 votes for vice president.
All right, we can take that. We can take that. That's okay. That's all right. We got this. I'm feeling it.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the District of Columbia seems to be irregular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 3 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 3 votes for vice president.
He's the comeback king, though, so here we go. He's got this.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Florida seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 30 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 30 votes for vice president.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Florida in the house. Literally, the house.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Georgia seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 16 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 16 votes for vice president.
Nice. Neck and neck now. Neck and neck. I'm so nervous.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Hawaii seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 4 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 4 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Idaho seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 4 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 4 votes for vice president.
Wait, which one was that? Idaho?
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Illinois seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 19 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 19 votes for vice president.
Now we got Indiana.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Indiana seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 11 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 11 votes for vice president.
There we go. Making up our ground now. Now, according to Ann Stelter, I think he lost Iowa by 3 points, right?
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Iowa seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 6 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 6 votes for vice president.
I went on a limb, way out on a limb, and called that one. Ann Stelter, be damned, your career is over.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Kansas seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 6 votes for
God
president,
bless you, Daniel.
and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 6 votes for vice president.
And we're finally back in the lead.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the Commonwealth of Kentucky seems to be regular in form and authentic, and appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 8 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 8 votes for vice president.
All right. Only 160 away. I love that Ohio is as red as it is.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Louisiana seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 8 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 8 votes for vice president.
It was bigger than, I always thought it was like Iowa's size, Kansas size, but 2 more electoral votes than either of those states.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Maine seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala Harris of the state of California received 3 votes for president, and Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 1 vote for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 3 votes for vice president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 1 vote for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Maryland seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala Harris of the state of California received 10 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 10 votes for vice president.
He managed to eat that out, even though all his neighbors hate him.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala Harris of the state of California received 11 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 11 votes for vice president.
She's back in front again. Neck and neck.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Michigan seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 15 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 15 votes for vice president. Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Minnesota seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala Harris of the state of California received 10 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 10 votes for vice president.
I missed Maryland. That's what it was. I used Maryland with that's what it was.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Mississippi seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 6 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 6 votes for vice president.
There we go.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Missouri seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 10 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 10 votes for vice president.
Building that red wall. Building the red wall.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Montana seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 4 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 4 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Nebraska seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 4 votes for president, and Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 1 vote for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 4 votes for vice president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 1 vote for vice president.
There you go. I've been there. I've been there. Oh, you'll probably hear it a few more times.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Nevada seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 6 votes
he was supposed to lose.
and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 6 votes for vice president.
What's happening? What's happening? He's building a lead now.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of New Hampshire seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 4 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 4 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of New Jersey seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 14 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 14 votes for vice president.
Save us, Scott Pressler. Your only hope. New York.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of New Mexico seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 5 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 5 votes for vice president.
Yeah, flip New Mexico. Too. Ridiculous that that's blue.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of New York seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 28 votes for president. Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 28 votes for vice president.
People fleeing that state.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of North Carolina seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 16 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 16 votes for vice president.
North Dakota.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of North Dakota seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 3 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 3 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Ohio seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 17 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio
70 more.
received 17 votes for vice president.
Correct.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Oklahoma seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 7 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 7 votes for vice president.
207 to 186.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Oregon seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 8 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 8 votes for vice president.
We're about to hit Pennsylvania. Did you guys see Scott Presler ask Fetterman to become Republican?
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 19 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 19 votes for vice president.
Call it now! Call it now! It's over. Amen.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Rhode Island seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 4 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 4 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of South Carolina seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 9 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 9 votes for vice president.
35 more. I think it's going to happen soon for South Dakota.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of South Dakota seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 3 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 3 votes for vice president.
This is it. This is where we.
Madam President,
this is where we
the
cross that
certificate of the
270.
electoral vote of the state of Tennessee
Oh,
seems
no.
to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 11 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 11 votes for vice president.
All right, 249.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Texas seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 40 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 40 votes for vice president.
289.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Utah seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 6 votes for president, and J.D. Vance from the state of Ohio received 6 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Vermont seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 3 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 3 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the Commonwealth of Virginia seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 13 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 13 votes for vice president.
Did I do a good job there? Amy says.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Washington seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 12 votes for president, and Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota received 12 votes for vice president.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of West Virginia seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 4 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 4 votes for vice president.
We're done with the blue. Now it's just, now it's.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the great state of Wisconsin seems to be regular in form and authentic. And it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 10 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 10 votes for vice president.
Finally.
Madam President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Wyoming seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 3 votes for president, and J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio received 3 votes for vice president.
312, 226, official tally for 2024.
Members of Congress, the certificates having been read, the tellers will ascertain and deliver the result to the President of the Senate.
Work it out, figure it out.
The undersigned, Deb Fisher and Amy Klobuchar, tellers on the part of the Senate, and Brian Steele and Joseph Morelle, tellers on the part of the House of Representatives, report the following as the result of the ascertainment and counting of the electoral vote for president and vice president of the United States
Bring it on
for
home.
the term beginning on the 20th day of January, 2025.
Who?
The state of the vote for the President of the United States as delivered to the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Welcome back, King. Welcome back, King. Oh, yeah.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
$2.5 billion down the toilet.
The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio has received 312 votes.
Welcome, DPJD.
Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota has received 226 votes. This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January, 2025, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate. Thank you very much.
Wasn't she supposed to do the same way she did Trump 2012? Wasn't she supposed to do that? There you go.
Of the joint Senate having been concluded pursuant to Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 2,
I'm out of here.
119th Congress, the chair declares this joint session dissolved. Thank you.
You forgot to do that part. He was reminding her, you got to close the session. You got to close the session. Well, there you go. President-elect. Now he's president. Well, I guess it's president-elect. Is it president? No, yeah. Still president-elect. Formerly president-elect. Well, President 47, Donald John Trump, now being confirmed by the House and Senate. All your worries, all you people who are sitting there so afraid, saying, what's going to happen? I don't know. I don't trust the system. I don't trust the system. As we see this, the den of snakes there. All I'm figuring out, how do I vie to get closer to the power? How do I, where's the power? How do I get closer to the power? They don't show us JD. Show us JD. We want to see JD. There's Cruz. The den of snakes. all those slithering, slimy snakes, one after another, just slithering all over each other. Gives me like the heebie-jeebies. I got the heebie-jeebies. But this is a great day, obviously. And frankly, very pleased it was boring. Very, very pleased it was boring. Boring is good. Boring like this is good. Viola says, could the diggers have their chat opened up, please? I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that. I'm so sorry. That was bad of me. I'm very late on that. I'm sorry. I did open your playground up now. Oh my God. There's JD getting his congratulations. And what about Michigan? She still might change it. She still might change it. Thank you, Madam Loser. Services no longer required. Bye-bye. 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 This is just glorious. Having her announced is just cherry on top. It really is. I'm burdened by what has been. I got the joy in my life. But she got what she wanted. We turned the page. We turn the Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you where the dear Lord split you. So this is a good day to be taking a selfie with JD Vance. He's probably in a good mood today. Vice President JD Vance. As everyone lines up to kiss the ring. They line up to kiss the ring. Oh, yeah. So there we go. It's official. It's done. It's all over. A lot of people have questions like, God forbid, we see how hard they're trying to literally kill Donald Trump. At this juncture, he's official. That man right there standing center, taking photos with everyone, all the snakes lining up to shake his hand, is a heartbeat away from the presidency. So no more Democrats for at least 4 years. And that is now official. J.D. Vance is next in line. Technically, the line of succession is Trump. It's Trump, Vance, Mike Johnson as the Speaker of the House is the one who's considered third in line. I don't think Trump is there. I imagine he's probably in Mar-a-Lago. If only because he figured some terrorist might bomb the Capitol. I don't know. But yeah. So there you go. There you go. It's all done. It's all official. They all look like snakes. Oh my God. Every one of them. Every one of them. But I do like JD. I like JD a lot. I've liked him for a while now, before he was selected. I think that he was such a great choice by Trump. You saw how in the debate, the vice president debate against Walz, even the left was like, well, you know, Walz is not the skilled debater. He's not the seasoned debater J.D. Vance is. As if J.D. Vance is someone who's spent decades in Congress. The dude was serving his first term as a senator. And he went from being a nobody, an unelected official, to being senator of Ohio. And I think he was an unelected official. I don't think he held any state position. I could be mistaken on that, but I don't think he held any. But yeah, the Banshee is gone. You're never going to have to hear from Kamala Harris ever again. That's my prediction. My prediction is we're done with Kamala. At least on a federal level. She may run for governor when Newsom is done in California. Who knows? She may. I don't see anyone supporting her. I don't see it happening. I think that she's exposed herself as being pathetic. It's humiliating to like get $2.5 billion. And literally, what if you think about what she got for that money? She didn't win a single state that wasn't already predetermined to go to any Democratic. I mean, it could have gone to a Democratic corpse. If they put FDR on the ticket, he would have gotten 226 electoral votes. Probably had the same people vote for him as voted for him back in the 40s. Probably the same people dug up and vote for him. But yeah, this was $2.5 billion. And she literally got nothing, nobody, zero, nada, not a single electoral vote that wasn't already predetermined for her. That is an utter waste. Yeah. Terrible. So that's not the type of candidate who inspires confidence in future campaign donations. So I don't know. We'll see what she tries primarying there. We did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. Trump is now officially president-elect. That's, I guess, the proper way to say it. That is the proper way to say it. Trump has the snake. He does. He has the snake by the tail. If you're joining late, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, without any incident at all, they simply read off state by state, starting in Alabama, coming all the way down to Wyoming, with me getting alphabetically states out of order in the middle there, but that didn't matter because they got it correct. In the end, he got 312 to 226 electoral votes. It's now all official. There was zero objections. You should note that now to raise an objection.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 2, 119th Congress, the electoral vote will be spread at large upon the journal.
Well, now it's official. Thanks, Mike. And I'll tell you this, I don't like Mike Johnson. I think he's a rhino. I think he's a rhino worse than being a rhino. I think he's a duplicitous rhino, a particularly duplicitous rhino who basically pretends he's MAGA, and he is very, very adept at playing politics and completely full of crap. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. He's proven himself to be the most adept snakes out there, of the snakiest of snakes, literally promising one thing and doing the exact opposite, and then pretending he has it. So at the same time, I can appreciate that if you were Donald Trump, you just wanted this process to go smoothly. On Friday, when they held the race, the vote for speaker, in case you missed it, he did win on the first ballot. They didn't have to go through the multiple ballots the way everyone thought they likely would. There were three. They have such a slim majority there in the House that I think they had 219 members in the House. Is that what the final tally is now, without Matt Gaetz? This is a vacant seat as of right now, I believe, for Matt Gaetz. So they have such a slim majority. I don't know how they maintain, with him giving out seats to Elise Stefanik and others. I don't know how they're even going to hold their majority. I don't know how they're going to hold the majority if they each give up their seats. Like how that would actually happen. Let's see how that's going to work. But for now, this is a great day. January 6, 2025. Far better day than January 6, 2021. As we watch JD continue to take his congratulations. Now, they say there's 8 inches of snow in Washington, D.C. It's definitely snowing. I don't know if it's quite that much, but they say there's 8 inches of snow out there, which could be part of the reason there was no objection.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Michigan seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, by the direction of the House Republican Conference, I send to the desk a privileged resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 13, resolved that the following...
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to dispense with the reading.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Reconsider what?
What purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, by direction of the Democratic Caucus, I offer a privileged resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 14, resolved that the
Mr.
following...
Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the resolution be considered as read.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Michigan seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that when the House adjourns today, it stands adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow, January 7th.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Michigan seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. According to the House, the stands adjourned until 11 a.m. on Tuesday, January 7th, 2025.
So they're done. I don't know I don't even trust this House. I don't know what unanimous consent was on 13 and 14. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what that was about, but that was kind of weird. Let's see if I can find that out. Legislative actions. Let's see if they're updating this. The legislative actions. This is their legislative actions. What a great day. What a phenomenal, excellent, amazing, wonderful, beautiful day this is. Snow, no snow, doesn't matter. This is a great day. We officially have 4 more years of Donald J. Trump as president of the United States. You got it right here, 45, 47. There you go. My guy. He's back. Our guy. I know. He's all our guy. If only Trump could be JD's vice president. That would be amazing. Maybe he'll take a different Trump. Maybe he'll be like Don Jr. I don't know. Michigan and California. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Well, anyway, That's all I got for you today. I think that was more than enough, right? That was more than enough. God willing, we should do something similar 4 years from today, right? Wouldn't that be great? I think that would be. All right, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up over here. I expect to see you all tonight. I expect to be live streaming tonight at 10 p.m. Sign up, goodlogic.locals.com, goodlogic.locals.com. I will see you all tonight, likely at 10 p.m. sharp. So, till then, I hope you have a phenomenal day. Congratulations to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, President 47. Congratulations to J.D. Vance, and congratulations to each and every one of us who worked so hard for this day to become a reality. It's here. He's back. He's back. I'm Joe. That's my story, aka Good Logic. Have a great day and Godspeed.